All right, Colts fans, we are back with another Into the DB film room. I'm Zach Hicks. That's John Hagler. We did miss last week, so you guys will see this will say episode 5 when it goes up, even though it's for week 6. We'll clean it up with the bye week. It'll end up matching up the rest of the year when we get to the bye week. But
Yes, sir.
uh, honestly, looking back, it's probably good we missed last week. We didn't have to break down the Ravens game, which
Watch
was
Lamar Jackson and Co.
look. This show has been overly negative this year.
Unintentionally.
Unintentionally. We want to talk good DB play, but it's been overly negative. But this week, we finally have some good clips. We're actually doing our most of the year this year. We're doing 8 clips from this Texans game. I think we have 6 positive, five and a half, 6 positive ones. Uh, just a good game for the Colts, man. You know, especially bouncing back, like I said, from that Ravens just devastation on Monday night.
Meltdown.
Lamar throwing, I think, 450, I
A
think is
lot.
what it was.
Lamar
Yeah,
threw for Lamar did a lot of everything to the Colts defense.
he did. He did. But yeah, we're gonna jump into the clips here, and honestly, I don't even want to waste too much more time because uh, I don't want to go over our typical 30 minutes or 40. I know you and I like to talk a lot. But yeah, jumping into these clips, we are kind of starting with somewhat of a negative one. Xavier Rhodes here getting beat by Brandon Cooks, and from what you and I have seen from this year, this matchup is just really tough on paper for
Mhm.
Xavier Rhodes, right?
It's not ideal. Yeah, it's definitely
No.
not ideal. Anytime you get a guy, Brandon Cooks is one of the shiftier, more savvy route runners in the game, and we've seen Rhodes struggle with those guys this year.
Hmm.
That's not a situation you want. You see here, Cooks eats his cushion up ASAP, gets him going vertical, clock sped up, he's out of there.
Yep.
So it's not horrible reaction by Rhodes here, but like I said, Cooks did a great job of eating his cushion up, selling the vertical route, and just getting out of it. Rhodes overcommitted, and hey, we see what happened there.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd rather him overcommit to the
Hmm.
vertical shot because if this were a vertical shot, Cooks probably and he didn't, and he didn't react to the vertical play, it probably would have been a big
Yeah,
play for the
and,
Texans.
and also, I mean, he's a vet, so it's just something I noticed right there. His awareness could be a little bit better. It's
Hmm.
3rd and 6 or whatever. They're probably
Yep.
going to go sticks here. They're probably not
Yep.
going to go a shot route. They're probably not going to take a shot here. He's big. I think he did a decent job of keeping his body there. But like I said, know your down and distance. And I'm not mad at a guy for ever playing it safe. I'll take
Hmm.
that 8-yard gain over 70, whatever it is, any day. But yeah, his clock got sped up, and great route by Cooks here.
Yeah. Do you think that because we've watched a couple weeks now with Xavier Rhodes? Do
Hmm.
you think it's kind of like getting to the point where it might be like a mental type of thing with him when it comes to these speed guys? Because we are kind of seeing, like you said, his clock gets sped up. He kind of doesn't react to this super well. He is kind of sitting on the vertical,
Uh huh.
probably because he knows he doesn't have the speed advantage. Do you think that kind of that lack of athleticism, for a better word there, lack for a better word there, but you think that's kind of getting into the mental game a little bit with him?
I think so. I think when you're so used to playing at a high level for so long, and your physical tools were your main weapons, he's a headsy enough player that he knows that.
Yeah.
So it maybe if he was a little bit ignorant and less self aware, you know what I mean? He probably wouldn't. And we see guys they try to get in foot races with Tyreek Hill and Deshaun Jacksons of the world, and they get toasted. Xavier is a former All Pro, one of the former premier corners in this league. He definitely knows he can't run with these guys anymore. So I would say it's definitely in the back of his mind.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully, he can kind of learn to adjust and kind of stay afloat this year, but that's definitely
Mhm.
something to watch
Oh yeah.
going forward for the Colts. But this next clip here, we have the run stop of the week. And I think you guys know, watching from this past game, what this clip was going to be. Just an outstanding play by Julian Blackman, who, if we did the Ravens game, he would have got the run stop of the week last week as well. And don't mind the white circle here with the shadows. It's the only way we can see him out there. Uh, but just an outstanding clip. I mean, this is what we talk about when we talk about click and close, when we talk about running the alley. I mean, he runs that alley
Mhm.
perfectly. No hesitation. He trusts his reads. He trusts where the ball is going to be. Trusts his angle, and this is just outstanding all around.
Yeah, great recognition here. His teammate probably should have just stayed inside here. He kind of clouded up the alley a little bit, but he
Hmm.
trusted it. He had great vision here, closes immediately, and just makes a hell of a tackle right here. That's textbook right there.
Yeah.
All these young guys coming into the league and young guys watching. That's how you do it. I don't know what's coming around that corner. I don't. It could be a guard, it can be a running back, whatever it is getting hit. And we saw the old school guys do it. Sean Taylor has one of the greatest
Hmm.
hit in the Pro Bowl when he's just running full. I know it's a punter, but that's how you want it. It doesn't matter if it's your grandma running through there. You know what I mean? Go full speed and blow whatever comes through there up. And he did a great job right here.
Yeah, and we've seen this a lot from Blackman, not only
Hmm.
this year but last year, his rookie season. It's that confidence to click and close, to run that alley, and be confident that
Yeah.
one, you're trusting your read, you're trusting this reverse is coming that way, you're trusting your teammates, and he's coming down with this violent streak that we don't see this from safeties as much anymore.
Oh no, it's a mentality, man, and I think a lot of these guys, it's not their fault because the game it's been forced
Yeah.
upon them, but that's what the Brian Dawkins used to do. That's what Detroit Palomalos used to do. That's what Sean Taylor's used to do. You were getting hit. And it's not that this is the biggest hit in the world, but that mentality, just the trigger. Like Jalen Ramsey has it. We see it with him every now and then,
Hmm.
and that's what you want to see. You want an enforcer. You want somebody that's going to show up in the run game and be effective in the run game, just like this. Like this is a hell of a play by Blackman. And the more I watch it, the more I like it. So
Yeah, and to keep with that NFL rule of safety, I mean, head up, have him
oh
come
yeah,
flow with it. Just a really, really good play.
yep.
Love everything about this play here. I mean, we all saw it during the broadcast, and we all said the same thing. But just an outstanding play, and we're seeing it. He's starting to compile good weeks now. Even though the Ravens shredded the Colts defense last week, he's starting to compile those good weeks and putting together a good second season. Hopefully, he did have. I saw he was limited with an Achilles injury today. Hopefully,
Mm.
you know,
Something definitely to watch. Like those are
yeah.
weird because it gets tight. That's one of them ones like you kind of don't want to play through it
Hmm.
because it's kind of like you never get a break from it. And you need tension in that area.
Yeah.
That's one to watch. So I play that one safe if I were him. But hey, you got a job to do. So
Yeah. 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 Just everything good there. And then going to I feel like we couldn't leave Kenny out.
yeah, Kenny.
Kenny is our reigning champion for run stopper of the year right now.
Hmm.
He wins this award every other week.
He's the
So
MVP.
we kind of have to talk about him on this type of play here. Just against the screen, this is third down. I think it was actually like 3rd and 10, so just a dumb play call, but it is what it is.
Hmm.
Colts playing a little bit of banjo. I kind of feel like they're expecting kind of something quick here
Hmm.
by how they're playing the banjo, but Kenny just reads the screen all the way, beats the block, squares up. Just Kenny.
Yeah, just being a football player. If you kind of notice he lines up kind of outside of him.
Hmm.
Obviously this is probably something that they see on film. Because they got the numbers here. It's 3-on-2. Kind of I know there's tight ends there, but
Hmm.
Kenny know he's the outside safety's on top of it. He fights through the block. That's not gonna block a guy like that. And he makes the play. We talked about that mentality. Kenny definitely has it. It shows up consistently, no matter how big somebody is, who's blocking him. He's gonna go in there and be nasty and make those football plays.
Yep. Yeah, we talk about matchups. Having Xavier Rhodes covering Brandon Cooks is not the best matchup for the Colts, but
Yeah,
having Brandon Cooks trying to block Kenny Moore, that's a great matchup for the Colts.
yeah,
Just
yeah. I'm taking Kenny all day. Like unless you just got a monster on him, I'm taking Kenny, man. He's a dog, man.
man,
He's a
even
real
then, even if
dog.
he had like a tight end over him there, I don't even know if I
Yeah,
wouldn't
he
take him
might he
either.
might crawl underneath him. He might,
Yep.
he might do something crazy, but a hell of a football player right here.
Yep. Just a great play and got him out of field goal range too. Just an outstanding play.
That's huge. That's so underrated. He may not have even known that, but
Hmm.
just those type of plays, those effort plays, because he could have waited. He could have
Hmm.
waited, and they probably could have stole 1 or 2 yards, and maybe they kick a field goal or whatever it may have been. But there's that effort, that willingness to come up and make a tackle and get them, make them lose 3 or 4 yards.
Huge, huge, and that's just Kenny Moore right there.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, it
Kenny
is.
Moore.
That's him.
Yep. And then getting to Xavier Rhodes again, I think this one's a little more explainable, a little more, not as bad of a beat. Really good throw over the middle too by Davis Mills, but this against rookie Nico Collins, he's getting outside and just
Mhm.
gets beat inside by an athletic receiver. What do you think he could have cleaned up here to maybe prevent this completion?
I think with a bigger guy, I think he probably got out a little too soon. He gave him a
Hmm.
little bit too much cushion early on. It looks like he may be slightly outside, trying to funnel everything inside. I think that's the throw that they want to give up there.
Yeah.
Um, maybe try to flatten him out a little bit more. In an ideal situation, I would want him to if you go back to the beginning.
Yeah. Right here.
So right here, the second he goes in, he kind of pushes back at more of a 45, which is typically how you'd want it. But if he's going inside, I want him to kind of like a basketball slide, like make him flatten that route out, make that throw just a little bit tighter, a little bit tighter. So instead of him being like on the numbers right there, he's
Hmm.
more inside of them, and it makes it a harder throw because the thing you don't want to do with a guy like Nico Collins, who's big and athletic, is let him body you and wall you off. That's just a tough catch. That's his type of catch right there. The Allen Robinsons of the world, the Mike Evans of the world. That's what they want. They want you, kind of behind them so they can use their wingspan and strong hands to make a play.
Yep. Yep. I completely agree. I think, they want to give up this inside throw here. You have the safety.
Mhm.
You're going to have these guys dropping back. The play action does draw them up a little bit, but making this even more of an inside throw is how
Yeah,
you would have won this.
yeah, definitely trying to flatten. You always want to try to flatten routes out, especially
Yep.
in breaking routes or any type of release. You want to flatten those guys out and make them run all the way either inside of you or run all the
Hmm.
way around you. Make them run the hump. What I tell a lot of my guys, and Nico kind of got on fast. He's big and athletic, so I understand it. But like I said, Xavier just his type of matchup that we want. Kind of false steps right there. Now that I see
Yeah.
it, he
Yep.
false step with his right foot.
That's why I was trying to
Um,
slow that down. Yeah, right there. False steps
yeah, if
there.
he just kick slides, boom, he's in a much better spot. Just like we said, it's the NFL, man. Those half-yard windows is all they need.
Hmm.
And good
Yeah.
route.
Yeah. Really good route. I mean, rookie, this is his first game. I want to say it was first game of the year,
Yeah,
but
he got banged up in the preseason, had some good
yeah.
preseason action. Definitely was a guy. He had a good Senior Bowl. I talked about it off screen. He's a Birmingham kid, so I've seen him since high school. So hey, good for him. Glad he's back on the field. But this is the matchup that we want Rhodes having, and he's gotta win these.
Yep. And then here's an even better way to play the route. I think Rock Ya-Sin does a really good job on this one against
Mhm.
Nico Collins again. Um, and this is playing that press. This is being a little more physical with him. But Nico Collins still comes down with it because he's a good young receiver. Runs a really good route here. But I think Rock does a lot of good here.
Mhm.
Stay square. And we kind of saw this earlier in the year with Rock, even though we were talking about a lot of good plays, is he was a little off balance in,
Yep.
in his press. But here I think he does a good job staying square, doesn't step over himself too much, gets the hands in
Mhm.
there. It's ready for the throw that's coming back quick. He probably could, like you were talking before we recorded, probably could have anticipated a little bit more. But
Yeah.
I think this is good coverage. It's tight coverage. If they're gonna if they're gonna go a whole game just making catches like that, you'll take it. You know.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think uh, they're doing a great job of selling the vertical. Like,
Hmm.
they're doing a great job of selling like we saw with Rhodes, Cooks is a little bit more twitchy, so he gave him a little bit more at the top of the route. Rock clearly thought he was going vertical,
Hmm.
and that's where he lost. I don't think Nico Collins is that much faster than Rock. I wish he would have played the low hip a little bit more, and like we talked about, make him throw the fade
Yeah.
every time, make him throw the fade, and that's all it is, and that's why you see that long, elongated. He's reaching right there, that shoulder,
Yep.
because he got beat, and he's trying to slow down. If he stays a little bit more low hip, he's in a better position to break and probably can grab lower and try to like slingshot underneath that route.
Yeah.
Former Colt, Vontae Davis, was really really good at it. He's probably the best I've seen at it in the last 15 years or so. And just slingshotting himself into an interception right there. But it's not bad coverage at all. Another good route. Solid coverage by Rock here. Just I wish he would have calm down just a little bit because he's winning the route, and that's what you'll expect if you are dominating the route high. That they're
Mhm.
gonna throw it underneath, and that's what we saw here with Nico in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm thinking the ankle might have played a little bit into it too, that he kind of,
Yeah,
oversold for the vertical there because of, his ankle injury. I mean, there were plays, I don't think I have too many in here, but there were a couple
mhm.
plays where Rock was definitely favoring his ankle before he left late in the game. So that could be
Yeah,
a factor here. But yeah, and, I think
that's your
it's,
breaks, man. That's your ankle injuries are weird. It's one of the things like ankle injuries. You can play with them, and you
yeah,
learn how to play with them, but you're willing to give up. I'm not gonna sell my soul for a hitch at
yeah,
corner. If I have an ankle injury, I'm just not. My job is to eliminate touchdowns, and like I said earlier, if it's a 6-7 yard gain, I'll live with that all day over a touchdown. So
yep,
I'm not selling my soul, especially if I know I'm banged up. You have to play with injuries. It's always something we talk about pre-draft. Can he play with injuries? Can he not? Does he know how? It takes like I said, a headsy football player to be able to, especially at corner, to play with an ankle injury against some athletic guys for the Texans.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. Next clip here, we have a good coverage by Rock on a third and short that results in an incomplete pass. And we'll talk a little bit about Kenny on this play too. But he's in that press again, which let's talk about that for a second. That the
Uh-huh.
Colts did a ton of press in this game. There were still those underneath and some zones that Davis Mills was able to attack, and I think he still had like a 70% completion percentage. But
Mhm.
on key downs, the Colts went to press, and for the most part, it worked. You and I were talking before we recorded, but why is it important to kind of show more press looks against a young quarterback, especially someone like Davis Mills, who probably isn't ready to play at the moment?
Yeah, so obviously, young quarterback, you want to try to make those windows, those throws, those catches as hard as possible. There's no better way to do that than have your guys in their guys' face, making them earn every yard, every inch. My guy, like cat defense. My cat, your cat. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And especially with a young quarterback, all he sees is I'm waiting for Nico to get open. I'm waiting for Cooks to get open, like pick here, pass break up here, and that's what you want. You want guys in their face because you want him thinking, "Hey, I have to make a perfect throw." I want him stressing out pre-snap. Now, some guys we get Brady, we get Aaron Rodgers, they're probably salivating. I got him, back shoulder Devontae.
Yeah,
But young guy right there, he's not. David Mills, smart kid, obviously Stanford, whatever. But man, he doesn't have that cerebral, ness of a veteran quarterback yet, and that's why I want my guys in your face. I want to make it murky. I want to make it nasty. Beat me.
yep, yep. And you and I are huge press guys. I love press
Yeah,
coverage, especially if I have what we call dogs at corner. And Rock has
yeah.
every bit the ability to be a dog at corner.
Hmm.
He's got that wrestler background. He's got that tenacity. The confidence just needs to be there.
We'll
Um,
go look at the Debo and him matchups at the Senior
yeah,
Bowl, and look
yeah,
what Debo's doing this year. The difference is I think Debo's on a slightly more talented defense. Um, and he I think he perhaps has a better D line, and that helps at corner. It's not that these guys are bad or even playing, horrible football, but it helps when you have premier guys up front. It helps when you have, linebackers that are equipped to cover underneath and make those windows, tighter. It definitely helps you.
yeah, yeah. So here we got Rock in that press, and we talk about why we like press is it just throws off the timing.
Mhm.
Watch how many steps. I think this is Nico Collins again. I want to say that looks like Cooks down there. So I want to say this is Nico Collins again at the top, but look how many steps he has to take to get out of this, and then he has to step up, and then he's going to stair step.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, and it
And there's
just
guys in there. There's guys, running
yeah,
underneath. Like it's murky. It's dirty.
yep.
It's not a clear picture.
Yep, you're making this receiver work to get to a spot, and then you're throwing off the timing because this receiver has to work to his spot. I think Rock does a great job of all these steps that this receiver's taken. You can see all the steps. Rock is staying square,
Yep.
staying patient,
Great
staying
positioning.
right up there, and then he's staying over top. And like we talk about, he's getting himself in the ability to where if this throw's coming, he can just crash down. He can make a play on
Yeah,
it. I think
it's a lot
this is just
easier.
great coverage. And then looking at Kenny too, I think Kenny does a great job with his eyes on this play, and he's going for 6 on this one because this is his guy right here, but he knows he's got all this traffic in the middle.
Mhm.
He's watching the young quarterback, he's watching Davis Mills, seeing what he can do, And if this is a good throw, Kenny probably jumps this for 6. I mean,
Yeah, so what Kenny's doing here is he's reading his drop back, right? So some high level DB stuff here. If the good ones can key the quarterback off the snap and watch the drop back, and because they have the eyes and they have the feet to do so. I do not advise young corners or inexperienced corners to do it because you will get cooked.
Yeah.
So when the play starts, what Kenny's doing right here, he's eyeing the quarterback. He's reading quick game. If it's quick, it's coming out now. Like his hands up now, I can jump whatever's coming there. Because once his hands is off there, there's not a lot of people who are pump faking with one hand. I just hate to break it to you. You know what I mean? So he's reading quick game here. It's a 2-step drop, 1-step drop. It's coming out hot. Kenny knows that. He's a smart player. He's a vet. He knows it's coming out hot. Boom. I can jump that now because there's nowhere else he can go, right? That ball's coming out. He read it perfect. If it's a better throw, it's probably a pick 6. I love plays like this because it just tells me he's experienced, he's confident, and that's a hell of a DB right there because only the best can actually execute that.
Yep. And it's just knowing the situation too, because like you said, I think this is 3rd and 2.
It's short.
1.
Yeah, it's short. Definitely quick game. Expect quick game right here.
Yeah, expecting quick game. The Colts are bringing pressure all day. They're showing a little bit of pressure. This guy's stepping up. They know this young quarterback's going to throw this quick.
Yep.
And yeah, man, I wish this was an on-time throw so we could talk about this. We could talk about this more. I think Rock just plays his press too well. I think that's the issue. Rock's too good in his press.
No, definitely. Like he stayed patient, man. He got his hands on him. Made it uncomfortable. The guys underneath did a great job. This is one of the prettier defensive snaps we watched right here. Just even though nothing crazy happened, I mean they got off the field, but it's just great execution across the board.
Yep. We have not seen a ton of that this year. So in the past game, I think the Colts right now are, I want to say they're 28th or 29th in pass defense DVOA. Now Lamar Jackson obviously is a big factor in that.
And the fact that the same secondary still hasn't been on the field for 4 quarters yet.
Yeah, no, Rock got hurt. You're right. Never mind. I was gonna say this was the one game, but no, Rock got hurt.
Almost
3.5 quarters. 3.5 quarters. But yeah, when speaking of Rock getting hurt, Rock gets hurt. Isaiah Rodgers comes in. Isaiah Rodgers is a guy that we've talked about a lot on this show. I think he's shown a lot of positive progression for a young corner who was a 6th-round pick just a year ago. And this is just a really, really strong play against Brandon Cooks. Like we talked about, Brandon Cooks, absolute burner. Burner who can run great routes, a very, very underrated receiver. And he's playing over top all the way. He's playing this fade. And yeah, he does a great job of pinching, and then not getting the pass interference by staying square, jumping vertically, and making an effort to get his head back. This is just, I would like to see him obviously get his head around and make another pick here, but I just think this is a very strong play by a young corner.
Yeah, he made up in his mind because I mean, Cooks even here, Rodgers can roll. Cooks kind of got a half a step on him, so he did a good job of not panicking, just running, trying to squeeze him out of bounds, make this throw as hard as possible. Like you said, he went vertical instead of out. Cooks wants the flag here, doesn't get it because he just did a great job of squeezing the air out of this play. Just did a really good job of squeezing the air out of this play. I like it. Great rep. He's running, I'm running. I'll get my head around later. Just don't let him catch the ball. That's a win all day long.
Yep. Just a great play, and not even his best play of the game. We're going to talk about that here in a second, but just a really strong play by Isaiah Rodgers. And I think he only played like 15 snaps in this game, but I think he's just showing those little improvements every single week. Like we talked about a couple weeks ago against the Dolphins when he made his first career start. There was a lot of good, but there was also some moments where, you could locate the ball better. You could trust your speed better. This is just a positive progression from that where, he is starting to trust his own ability out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just love that play. Love it. And then obviously we have the play of the game here. Him versus Brandon Cooks. We're not going to talk about the coverage. Me and Hag, we're going over
brainstorming.
Yeah, we were doing our thing that we always do. We were trying to figure out what coverage this was for like 20 minutes before we recorded it. We're not going to talk about the coverage. We're just going to say there's 2 high safeties, and we got Rodgers down here playing some bump and run type man. that's the farthest we're going to go with the coverage
Yeah,
here.
we're
But
gonna let that chicken rest. We're gonna let
yeah,
that
yeah,
one
yeah.
eat.
If we get started, we won't stop. We'll keep going. But this is just a great play. Press coverage, getting him
Mhm.
outside,
Good
really
hands
pinching
here.
him. Really good. Yeah, that honestly, that's something that I don't think we have talked about enough with this. Like,
Yeah.
just look at the way he just kind of shocks him there. Like
Yeah,
that.
and that's kinda what I mean, like, you know what I said, I make him run the hump. But I
Hmm.
mean, he did it forcibly. I wish he would've moved his feet a little bit better.
Yeah.
He turned around, but he got hands on him, right? So whenever I'm jamming somebody, I wanna get hands on him so I can disrupt it. He got both of them on him and
Yeah.
made him he rerouted him 2 yards outside of where he probably wanted to go, and that's never good for a receiver.
Yep.
So like I said, this quarterback is probably throwing to a spot, right? Quarterback's throwing to a spot. He expects his guy to be there. He doesn't anticipate Rodgers forcing his receiver to go 2-3 yards that wide. Rodgers does a great job of squeezing, getting his head around, and making a hell of a catch here. Just like you said on Twitter, turned into the receiver, did a really good job here. Great play, man. That's just beautiful, beautiful stuff, man.
It is. It is. The press coverage on this play. Yeah, that's honestly the highlight, I think, is again,
Mhm.
Brandon Cooks we're talking about. A guy who's been there, done that.
Hey,
Uh,
he's Blitnikoff winner, most underrated receiver in the NFL. He's one of them guys.
yep. I don't think he's expecting the physical press from someone like Rodgers.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's definitely expecting to run by him.
Yep.
And that's just nice press. I love right here though, because again, we talked about against the Dolphins where Rodgers against Devontae Parker when he got down the field, he didn't turn into the receiver and he didn't really get his head around. Like he was kind of playing catch up. Here
Yep.
he stumbles and he is in a situation where you could easily panic. You could easily panic and say, "Oh no!" Like Brandon Cooks, who's way faster than Devontae Parker, has a step on
Mhm.
me. But he doesn't. He gets his footing. He trusts his position on that back hip, gets his head around, and I mean that's just a great play. And I took that quote from you. That's always your quote, turn into the receiver. Uh,
Yep.
just an outstanding play.
Hey, look, we have as much rights to the ball as they do when it's in the
Yep.
air. Not enough defenders feel that way. I was a huge interception guy in college. Like I was always trying to get my hands on it. Um, and I think most DBs drop passes because they're unfamiliar with it, and that's why having good ball skills is such a coveted trait. Like plays like this, plays like we've seen Trayvon Diggs make. Anytime you attack the football and go get it, man, I'll watch that all day. I'll show that to my guys. I'll send it to my guys. There's always things we can improve on, but at the end of the day, it's how you finish the rep. And he did a great job right here finishing this rep and picking this ball off.
Yep. Just an outstanding end to the day for the Colts defense there. Just
Yep.
a great play by Isaiah Rodgers. And honestly, I kind of wanted to ask you, is that has to be our play of the year, right? For defensive backs? That
Yeah,
has
I
to be
think
our
so.
Colts play of
Just
the year.
because it hasn't there's not a lot of there's not a lot of ball production. This game we probably saw as much as almost seen all year long. We've seen, rotating door with a couple guys being in and out, but that's
Hmm.
the most impressive. I love the plays by Kenny Moore in the box. Obviously I love when they show up in the run, but you're matched up on, one of the better receivers in the NFL. He's consistently going off. And you're a young guy, you're early in your career, you're getting playing time because the guy's out, and you make a huge interception. They're an impressive one at that, not just a gimme. You went and got that one, you earned that one. So I think that definitely is the play of the Colts defense so far, and in the red zone at that.
Yeah.
And in the red zone at that, we seen the Colts red zone defense, and we've been critical on them. But no, that's a great play. They bowed their neck there, and they got off the field.
Yeah, love it. And the question I wanted to ask you was, maybe now is not the time, obviously,
Mhm.
but do you have to kind of have in the back of your mind, like maybe at some point we do have to start subbing in Isaiah Rodgers more with Xavier Rhodes because Rhodes we've seen the
Mhm.
struggles, we've seen kind of the limitations, and Rodgers who may not have that veteran savvy that
Yeah.
Rhodes has, but you see the athletic potential, you see him getting better. Do you have to start
Mhm.
getting to the point where maybe it's not like a full fledged bench, but you
Yeah.
start getting Rodgers out there a little bit more?
Well, it's always a numbers game, right?
Yeah,
You have a 6-round guy, a young guy, and you have a vet who you're paying a lot more money to. So that guy's going to be on the field. I'm curious if they're entertaining with as much, cover two as they run and two high looks, if they've entertained him possibly playing safety
Yeah.
at all. I think that's a natural progression. I think it would extend his career. We've seen a lot of great corners do it. We saw Kareem Jackson do it seamlessly. Went
Oh,
from
he's been so good.
being a good corner in the NFL for 8.5 years to having new life at safety. And he's been playing DB in the NFL since I was in high school, or since before, like while I was in like beginning of high school. Um, and then you look at the greats, obviously the Charles Woodsons of the world. I think that possibly be a thing. But Isaiah Rodgers definitely needs more reps. He's too athletic. And we saw that play right there. He's matched up a couple times with Brandon Cooks, and we've seen him do his thing. I think he needs to be on the field more. I think obviously Rock being healthy is the number one priority, so you can get him on the field more. And if Xavier Rhodes is somebody that you just want on the field, start working him at safety some. You got the guys to do it. You got Kenny Moore, Blackman showing that he can move around. Like there's ways to do it, especially with as pass heavy as some of these teams are going against them. But definitely Isaiah Rodgers and Xavier Rhodes need to start, split some snaps here and there. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I completely agree. I don't think you're at the point where you could just bench a guy like Xavier Rhodes because he has done it for
no.
a long time. He had a good season last year. Maybe he's just
Mhm.
getting his legs back under him after having some injury issues earlier this season.
Well, my bad. Well, if you look at it, he's he's going against some dudes.
Yeah, he
Brandon
is.
Cooks, like he's not catching breaks here. Coming off an injury and get some of the guys that he's getting is not ideal by any means. So I kind of get it a little bit. Like you said, he's probably getting his legs up underneath him, but I don't want Brandon Cooks or Cooper Kupp or any of those guys when I'm coming off injury. Let alone when you're healthy, they'll give you nightmares. But if you're an older corner, that's not who you want.
Yeah. Yeah. And now we got the Sunday night game coming up against the 49ers. If Rock is good to go, are you excited to see the Senior Bowl matchup now in the NFL? We got Rock and Debo. Now I think it's a little different. Debo's kind of a dude now. Like he's kind
Yeah.
of that dude now, and Rock is he's still growing as a corner. But are you
Yeah.
excited to kind of see those Senior Bowl matchups from a couple years ago?
Always,
Maybe
I'm
here.
always, I'm always excited to see that because it was a highlight of the Senior Bowl a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Debo was a dude in college. Like he
Yeah.
was a bona fide superstar. He got hurt, I think, that the second part of his last year maybe. But him, the Pharaoh Coopers of the world, they did everything in South Carolina. They ran the ball, they caught the ball, they
I think they
returned stuff.
had. Did they have Shy then too? Shy Smith was
Shy,
kind of a
yeah, Shy was,
youngster.
yeah, he was a young guy then. Shy
And
like
and they had that kid that the Raiders have now,
Edwards.
Edwards. Yeah,
Yeah.
they had some
Yeah. No,
dudes.
they put out South Carolina put out guys. Think about it. They had them, they had is it Greenclaw? What's his name?
Oh, the guy for the Niners, the linebacker
Yeah, the D lineman.
or D lineman, Greenlaw, I think is his name.
Is it Greenlaw? But yeah, anyway, dominated Senior Bowl. Like I watched that and I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
But yeah, anyway, I'm excited to watch that matchup because one thing that Kyle Shanahan does, like he's shown that he wants to get Debo involved.
yeah,
100% get Debo involved. I want to see that matchup. It's interesting. And I think if I'm the 49ers, I'm attacking Xavier Rhodes with possibly Brandon Ayuk. I know Jimmy G's coming back. But they want to get Ayuk a little bit more involved. But watching Debo, watching Rock Ya-Sin, it's definitely something me and my guy Croc we'll talk about some, and we'll go back and forth on that one. But I'm excited to watch it. I always like to see anytime you can take college into the NFL, it just makes it a little bit more fun. Even Herbert. I remember seeing Herbert down at the Senior Bowl, and he was just And
yeah,
now, I wasn't as high on him because I saw him in person and I wasn't like blown away. I think it's situational. The Colts obviously are looking for, possibly looking for a quarterback in the next couple of years. Just depending on how Wentz does and how healthy the team stays. But anytime you can take those college matchups to the NFL, it's always fun.
yeah, definitely, man. So yeah, we got a big matchup Sunday night. We'll be back again for Into the DB Film Room next week, guys, and things are looking up for the Colts. I mean, I know that
Hey, we got a pick.
I know. Yeah, we got to pick. We got to pick. we got a legit pick. Like Kari had the tip ball
Not a
intercept.
gimme. It wasn't a gimme.
Yeah. We had a legit DB play on a pick, but things are looking good. Colts defensive backs are getting picks. They're beating up on the Texans. Carson Wentz completing 11 passes for 230 yards. Like insane.
yeah.
And then, this week we got the shirt here for it. Dio and Tayambo is back practicing. I think we got it good. We got it good.
Yeah, man. Looking up. The injury report it's smaller. It's smaller than it has this week. So yeah, man, rolling.
We're rolling. Now we just got to hope Julian Blackmon does not have any kind of serious injury with the Achilles, and we're good to go. But guys, I appreciate you tuning in. We actually kept this around our typical recording here, so I'm happy that we were able to do that. I thought we were going to go a little long. I think we overcompensated with the too many clips. We cut it a little shorter on these. But now I appreciate you guys tuning in yet again. We'll be back next week, hopefully to break down Rock Ya-Sin locking up Deebo Samuel. Let's just
battle.
hope.
Part two.
All right. See you guys next week.
Peace.